Americans now find themselves dealing with the possibility of higher drug prices ahead of incoming tariffs on some imported pharmaceuticals. The new 100% tariff goes into effect October 1st, just a few days from now. And it applies to most drugs entering the country unless the drug maker is working to bring its manufacturing to the U.S. But despite concerns over the impact of these and other tariffs and rising inflation, Americans, it turns out, are still opening their wallets. New data showing consumer spending went up 0.6% in August, a sign that a crucial part of the economy is still chugging along. Natasha Sarin is joining us now. She is a former economist with the Treasury Department under President Biden. Natasha, thank you so much for being here with us. I want to start there because I think this is confusing at first blush for people. Tariffs and inflation remain really top of mind for Americans. They keep citing it as real concerns. And yet spending, including discretionary spending, is still up.
Yeah, I think we're in a situation where you're getting a lot of different types of indicators from this economy. So you're right, Jessica, tariffs are at levels following the most recent set that we haven't seen since 1934. That translates into price increases of about $2,300 based on estimates from my colleagues and I at the Budget Lab on average per family each year as a result of these tariffs. You're also seeing a labor market that is slowing down really substantially, where over the course of the last few months, in essentially all sectors outside of gains in healthcare, you've seen real stalling with respect to hiring of new employees. And particularly for young people, you're seeing that it's becoming more difficult to find employment. And you're also seeing these sort of estimates with respect to consumer spending, but note that consumer sentiment, so like how people feel about the economy, has been somewhat muted over the course of the last many months, likely because of the fact that people are observing these tariffs and also observing what they're watching with respect to the labor market. So it is, in fact, an economy where there is a lot going on, and that's even before we get to all that is happening in the world of artificial intelligence and tremendous investment there. So there's a lot going on, and it's difficult to parse, but I think we can definitely say that these tariffs are directionally going to be increasing inflation and increasing prices for households.
Right. And look, we're now at the end of September, October starting next in just a few days. We're headed toward the holiday season where a lot of retailers bank on that season to make sure that they are in the black for the year or make a lot of their, a lot of their money during the holiday season. Where do you see spending going as we go toward the end of the year?
Well, something that I think is like really important to understand is as you get to the holiday season, the sort of overall impacts of these tariffs. So overall, we're expecting to see a price increase on the order of 2% as a result of the tariffs that have been effectuated thus far by the Trump administration. That headline number, it almost masks a lot of differences that are sectoral because there are more types of goods that are imported by toy manufacturers than there are in other segments of the economy. So, in particular parts of the economy, which I think are also going to be very important as we get to holiday season. So, things like toys, things like furniture type, things like apparel, where we're going to see a 35% price increase as a result of these tariffs. I actually think you're going to start to feel, and you've heard retailers say that they're anticipating needing to raise prices exactly because of these effects that are on the horizon.
Yeah. Also, before I let you go, October 1st, again, just a few days, some of these drugs that are going to be impacted by these new tariffs, 100% tariff on some of these prescription drugs. What kind of precedent is there for putting a 100% levy on these kinds of products?
Well, there is no precedent for tariffs at these levels in the last century. We haven't done anything like this. And I will say that the Trump administration is right that drug prices are too high. This is a set of issues that I worked on in the Biden administration. And so I think that they've identified a problem. The thing that's challenging about these particular tariffs is we don't yet know like exactly what is going to happen, and details have been rather limited with respect to them, and we're only a few days out from when they're being effectuated. So time is going to tell here. Something I'm worried about is that you are starting to see reporting that particularly for large drug manufacturers that are doing a lot of their manufacturing in Europe or have already started production here in the US with new factories, they're going to be exempt from these tariffs. And actually, they're going to be a penalty that's disproportionately going to fall on some of their smaller competitors. And that has sort of market shaping impacts that I think are pretty important. And we should keep an eye out as we look and understand more about what exactly is happening here.
Yeah, and when people go to pick up those prescriptions and see which ones might be affected by this. Natasha Sarin, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.